Hi, my name is Dennis Siri. I am Executive Director and founder of the New York City Independent Film Festival, Independent in Spirit, International at Heart, and this is the New York City Independent Film Festival Meet the Filmmakers podcast. Join us while we meet this year's filmmakers. Thank you. Bye-bye. Welcome to this podcast. We're here with Olya from the film Love Unscripted. Welcome, Olya. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Please
you so
tell
much
us a
for
bit
having me.
about yourself and introduce yourself.
My name is Olya Schechter. I'm a documentary filmmaker. This is my second feature film, and I always wanted to be a storyteller, and I was trying to find my way of telling stories. I've tried to be a journalist for some time, and then I realized that filmmaking is more of an all-encompassing way of telling the story. So I went to film school, documentary film school here in New York, NYFA. I have an amazing documentary program. And then I spent my first 3 years of my filmmaking careers on the front lines in Eastern Ukraine. That was the way to learn. And came out with my first film that was about a Ukrainian conflict, so touched upon the geopolitical aspect. Then I wanted to make a personal film, and so this my second Love Unscripted is my second feature documentary film, and it's a personal film.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us. All righty. So I guess my first question is, what made you want to be a filmmaker?
Hmm. It's a hard one, right? Because you are trying to figure out what's the best medium to use in order to tell a story. I saw a documentary, Cartel Land, by Matthew Hemingway, I think that's his last name. And I was blown away by the way he was able to tell the most objective story, in my opinion, capturing the two stories from the two borders, two sides of the border. And it just had such a profound effect on me. And I said, there's no other way to cut through the audience other than a documentary film. This is the ultimate art form to tell the most objective story in all-encompassing way. And I said, I need to learn how to do that.
Great. I mean, that's certainly a noble cause. All right. And when you first said, I want to be a filmmaker, what was your family's and friends' response to that? Were they supportive? They sit there and go, what are you talking about? What was their response?
Yeah, everyone was very supportive.
Okay.
They thought it was really badass. They wanted to be a documentary filmmaker. Yeah.
Very cool. Do you have your filmmaker tribe? Do you have your tribe of people who you support?
I don't. I really believe that filmmaking is quite a lonely endeavor. And I am actually working on it right now because I'm realizing that how important it is to be able to have your tribe, to be able to bounce ideas of each other when you're in the process, when you're stuck in your tunnel vision, right? And also to be able to allocate some creative tasks to people that you trust, so that they're professionals in that. Yeah. So I have very few selected people that I went to school with or that I've met along the way. But I really want to, and when I talk to other filmmakers, they also feel that way. That say they feel quite isolated oftentimes, So I really want to work towards creating a filmmaking community, a documentary filmmaking community, or join one.
Okay, cool. Great. I have to admit, I'm also a filmmaker. I do a lot of documentaries, and you're right. I spend a lot of time working on this stuff.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to make this film? Explain a little bit, but what made you decide this particular film? What was the thought process?
So it took place during the time when the pandemic hit New York City. And I first thought, this is such a fascinating time. I need to capture it. I started recording everything that I could possibly get my hands on. Right? And I was in a long distance relationship with my now husband. And he came to visit me and my 10-year-old daughter. At the time, she was 10, from the Netherlands. He's Dutch, to spend the weekend with us. And that weekend, the borders got shut and he was stuck with us.
You were stuck with him. Depends on how you.
We were stuck with him. And I was filming my daughter's homeschooling also, her uh, way of dealing with this challenging time. And at some point, I just set up cameras everywhere, because we were home, we were inside, so I had controlled environment, right? And then I realized that I have a ticking time bomb because my then boyfriend's visa was expiring, and the lawyer said, if you want him to stay in the country, then you guys need to get married. And then all of a sudden, our very carefree relationship turned into something very serious. And we started having these very difficult conversations that every couple has at this moment when they need to decide whether they're going to commit to each other. And then I realized that, oh, this is the story. This is the most interesting story. And so I turned the lens on us, and I recorded the conversations with relationship therapists who helped us, go through this difficult time. And I have hours and hours of conversations between us, and I continued to film, and yeah, and that's how it started.
So it kind of happened unscripted. Yeah, that sounds great. All right, so I guess I combine the next two questions. What was the easiest part or the most fun part, not the easiest, but the most fun part and the hardest part about making this movie?
The easiest part, that I had control over the entire project. I was the star, I was the director, and then eventually I was the editor. So I didn't have to find the right fit for the project. I didn't have to find compromises between me and the editor. And it wasn't just purely my vision. That was great. I loved it, right? The most challenging part was exactly that, that I was the star, the director, and the editor, right? So I think I went through this 3-step integration process when you filmed all this footage, and you have hours and hours of just reality, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? And it's just there, right? One big gibberish. And then you look at it and you think, you see yourself on camera and there's this cringe element. You say, ew, no, this is not me. I speak this way. I look like this. I say this. So you have to get over it. Once you get over it, you then start to see your own bullshit. You start to see the games that you play. You say, well, oh, this is how I manipulate reality in order to get what I want. I see. You see your own game, and that's really therapeutic, I have to say. Then you start to accept your own game. You start to accept your partner's flaws and your own flaws, and then you forgive yourself and you forgive your partner. So it is a next level of therapy here. And I guess the third process is when you take a pause. I took about a 6 months pause. And then when I went back and I looked at myself as a character, I said, here's this character. What does she want? What is the best way to tell her story in the most objective way? And that was the process.
Was any part of it fun? Did you? Not really. It doesn't sound like it. Rewarding maybe, but not really fun.
I think the fun part was seeing my daughter at that age, you know, going, just being so silly and reliving those fun elements or fun time that we had living together. And yeah, that was amazing. But of course, because it's, you know, we were going through such a difficult and challenging time, most of it was psychologically difficult because I had to then, you know, listen to the same conversations over and over, the fights that we had, the hurtful things that we said to each other, you know, to be able to go over it constantly. That was hard.
Yeah, moms and daughters can really be mean to each other.
Tell me about it.
I watched that with my own daughters and their moms. Yeah. When you were done, right? You're all done with this project and actually the other project, actually all your projects. Are you happy? Do you sit there and go, okay, that's the best I could have done? And now I'm just going to learn any mistakes I see. I'm just going to take those into consideration for the next project. Or you just have a person who sits there and goes, oh, look at those mistakes. Someday I'm going to fix them. Which one are you?
No, I'm definitely happy with it. Sometimes when I look back on my first project where I worked with an editor, and there was a collaboration and we had to meet in the middle and I had to take his vision in consideration, I have a little bit like, I should have kept that character. I think that, or I should have kept that scene, you know, a little bit. This particular project, because I had control over it, it was completely my vision. I think this is the best version of what it could possibly be.
Okay, that's great. That's awesome to say that. All right, now in the indie film world, we all know we're not going to be buying yachts and mansions and private jets from being in the indie film world. So what to you does the indie film world's success look like? What is success in the indie film?
I think being accepted to film festivals like yours, to me, that's amazing. That there are people that are going to be able to see it, but there are other filmmakers that resonated with the film and thought it was worthy of showing it in their program. To me, that's a measure of success, definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate the fact that you sent it to us. Without the films, we wouldn't have a film festival. And also the curator is Dutch. He lives in Utrecht, in Holland.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's where my husband is from. That's good.
we'll be here for the festival. So what advice would you have? Somebody comes along and goes, hi, Auntie Olya, I want to be a filmmaker just like you. What would be your advice? What would you say?
First, definitely go to film school. You'll learn a lot. And second, just do it. Don't overthink it. Just take your camera and just go for it.
Let's do it. Okay, great. All right, that's it for me for questions. Do you have any last thoughts you want to say or anything you want to talk about?
No, I just want to say again, thank you so much for accepting my film, and I cannot wait for the film festival. It's very exciting.
Oh, you're certainly welcome.